Go. That's us.
Hey,
Go.
everybody. We are live from Chicago at the Trinity Health Freedom Expo. And with me, AnneMarie Battis. She is going to tell us about tapping with oils and what to do in an emotional emergency. We are in an emotional emergency right now, Joe. Right now.
I
We're in an
know.
emotional emergency.
If y'all can see this, this is like, it's so cool to be here. Something we look forward to every year. But in the same respect, it's kind of like, it's a little crazy. Okay. It's a little crazy for sure. And things keep happening. So we need to kind of like regroup from all of that, right?
That's what we were like. It's going to be okay. God's got this. We're fine.
God's got this. Yeah,
All
totally.
right.
With
Hey,
the time
Ty.
change and everything has been,
How are you?
kind of
Good
crazy
morning.
a little bit for us.
All right.
That
I'm going
time
to
change
step
is a tricky thing, I know.
You get go on with your
All
bad
right,
stuff,
there we
girlfriend.
go. All right, here we go. All
Do
right.
you need headphones or anything?
Probably. I don't know.
Go
Hey,
ahead.
Joe,
Just keep talking.
do you have
Hi,
I don't
Anne-Marie.
even have headphones.
Go ahead.
All right, there we go. So we're all
Introduce
good.
yourself.
All right, so guys, tapping for emotional reasons. Let me tell you, if the past 18 months have not done anything for you, this is, you need to kind of stay tuned for this, because it's been a little crazy out there, as you already know. It's been a little crazy out there, and I can't always say that it's not going to be any crazier. Okay, and that's life happens, right? And how we respond to things is what's going to really make the difference if we're going to get past whatever circumstances that we're dealing with, because life is always going to throw us crazy. So that being said, tapping is a way to be able to do that. I'm an essential oil junkie. Okay, that's just kind of how I roll. And I use my oils with the tapping because both of them are very effective. Both of them together is your powerhouse. Now, I know in my practice, I've had a lot of people who normally don't deal with any kind of anxious feelings and like really have a problem with it. They usually have things under control. They haven't had it under control. And that's what made me kind of explore this a little bit more so that I could help them better with those kind of feelings, because as a whole, everybody's been kind of dealing with it and people are looking for natural alternatives. Oils are my thing. My favorite oil of all time is frankincense. Okay, so frankincense is like the big daddy of oils as far as really anything. But in our topic today, it's great for calming, reassuring, giving life's breath to your body, because we are definitely kind of stressed out about stuff. So if you're brand new to oil, let me just tell you, oils, in my guesstimation, are the absolute best way to reach reach our emotions. Okay, and when you pair it again with the tapping, it really is a wonderful combination. Now, what does tapping do for the body? Tapping is a way for your body to talk to itself. Okay, so it's that mind body connection that we have. And it's just a way to kind of like tap, 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 wake up, honey, tap, tap, tap. Remember this, tap, tap, tap. Just like you would maybe tap a friend's shoulder and say, hey, wake up. Hey, it's time to do this. It's kind of like that, but we're doing it to ourselves. And it's to bring us back to a place of grounding. And so that's kind of what we want to do. We want to bring ourselves back to a very stable, grounding place. So when we maybe find ourselves, I'm going to do not just the emergency, but I'm going to take you through a process. So if you find that maybe things are getting a little crazy in your life, a little maybe out of control, maybe you find yourself in a circumstance that is just now all of a sudden kind of, I got to be compliant here. That's just getting a little crazy. Okay, circumstances that are getting a little crazy. Deep breath. All right. First thing, deep breath to get emotionally reset and grounded. You want to take a deep breath. So pick an essential oil that works for you to help with breathing. Now, my favorite, as far as that is concerned, is an oil called Breathe. Okay, and so basically, you would just take the essential oil, put just a drop on your hand, and rub your palms together. All right, and then you're going to cup by your face and breathe in. Take in a couple of really good breaths. So you're going to do like a 6 count. 6 counts in, 6 counts out. So for time's sake, right now we're not going to do 6, but let's pretend that that's what we're doing. Okay, and you want to close your eyes. You want to breathe in until you start feeling grounded, meaning some of those anxious feelings are starting to kind of dissipate just a little bit and are just okay. All right, my world, it's kind of calming down a little bit. Okay, so you want to do that, and that can happen at any time. Like you can do that anytime. Because we need to express the emotions. We don't want to shove the emotions out because let's face it, I don't know about you, but I come from a very long line, family line of emotional stuffers. That's what we do. We stuff. We don't always deal with them. We stuff. And I think a lot of us do that. And so this is a way for us to just say, okay, I'm not going to stuff. I'm just going to just take it down a few notches, a little bit, because the better that we can become observing our emotions without self-judgment, without, negativity and things like that, we're able to understand the root of what's going on and able to address it. Okay, and these behavioral patterns, because sometimes it might be a pattern. Every time this happens, this is the result. So a lot of times that happens. So awareness is key with that. You might also be someone who writes things down. And so go ahead and write this. Write down your feelings. Express your emotions on paper or on computer. Even though your emotions may sound ugly, they may sound, negative in some way, hurtful, getting them out is going to be huge for you. It's not necessary to keep the paper. It's not necessary, when you're done, you can click delete, whatever, but getting it out is going to be, the first step with that. And that's just if things in your world are starting to come unraveled. So let's take it from there and say, now things are starting to release overwhelming emotions. So see how we're escalating a little bit. So when strong, uncomfortable emotions are interfering with life, pick an essential oil. And my usual go-to is the frankincense. And you're going to, again, put a drop in the palm of your hands and this. And you can also apply it over your heart if you want to. So I'm not going to do it on camera here, but you can do that. You can apply it over the heart and just kind of, I can't really necessarily do it, but anyway, so you can do it that. And close your eyes, take in 3 deep breaths. And when I say a deep breath, I mean from the belly. You want to do a belly one. And it's a kind of emotional reset or physical sensation that might surface. Recognize it, address it, say, okay, I notice I'm feeling these anxious feelings right now, or I notice that I'm super angry right now. Validate them. Because a lot of times when we stuff, what we're doing is not validating, like, oh, it doesn't matter to me when it really does. And then it resurfaces and causes problems. So notice any kind of emotional or physical sensation that might surface with all of that. Express the emotion. Could be on paper if you want to take the opportunity to put it on paper this time again, or, type it up or just verbalize it, just getting it out. Okay. And then continue doing that until you notice a shift in what you're feeling. Then this is where the tapping part comes in, because if you then are escalated to the point where you're needing immediate help, you want to emotionally reset and introduce feelings of well-being, well, that's a whole different deal. Okay. And so then, okay, so like I love, there's a one called Peace. I love this one for that. And I just happen to have the roller, so I'll roll a little bit on my hand and rub it like that. And we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to cup over our face and inhale deeply. 6 counts in, 6 counts out will bring you to an even deeper place. And then, close your eyes, breathe it in for a minute, let all of it just kind of soak in. All right. And then you're going to start tapping. Okay. And we're going to, like when we're tapping on different meridians. So if you don't know about meridians, look it up. Because I've got limited time here today. But we're on meridians, and those meridians are according to Chinese medicine. They were discovered thousands of years ago, and we have meridians in our body. And so what we're going to be doing is literally tapping into those meridians to calm ourselves down, to reassure ourselves. And we're also using the oil. So I've got oil in the palm of my hand. I'm just going to kind of make sure that I have them on the tips of my fingers as well, because I'm going to be using the tips of my fingers to tap. Okay, so reassure yourself with some calming phrases. So some of those phrases could be, I'm connected and comfortable with my environment, which might be exactly opposite. So you might even start with, I know that my environment is not comfortable right now. So the meridians that we're going to do is the top of the head, okay, top of the eyebrows, right here, on the side, temples, right here under the nose. Some people do the chin, right under the clavicle. I don't know if, like, right here's your clavicle, right there, tap there. And then with the side palm of your hand, you can tap there as well. And do it in the same order each time. If you get confused, it's not the end of the world. But the idea is that you're tapping. So as you're tapping, you're going to want to reassure yourself. So for instance, let's just say I was anxious about something right now. I would be, okay, it's okay to be anxious. It's okay to feel these feelings that I feel. It's okay. It's okay to feel these feelings. There's nothing wrong with me because I feel this way. That it's very normal to feel this way. And it's okay to feel this way. And I am connected. And I accept myself just the way that I am. It's okay to feel this way. Okay? After you do one round of it like that, you take a deep breath and you see how that just sets in with your emotions, with your energy, and see where you are at that point. Usually at that point, depending on how severe, you may have to do a second time and use things like, I'm connected and comfortable with my surroundings. I trust God that He's going to provide what I need. That I love who I am. I accept who I am. With God, all things are possible. So it just depends on what your circumstance is at the time. Find something that first you're acknowledging your situation, because your body's not going to believe you if you say, oh yeah, everything's good. Okay, your body's going to be like, yeah, girlfriend, I don't know where you are, but no, it's not. So you acknowledge, okay, that there's something going on, and then you address it. Okay, so whatever it is, I'm lovingly supported by God. All is well in my world. I am at peace. So it just depends on what's going on. So then you want to try to retrain the brain, because see, the brain, your brain reacts to anything that it already knows. Okay, so, and all of us have that predetermination of what we know because of experiences that we've had in our life. So when we have triggers that happen, they happen because of our perspective. So I'll give you the example of a bear. Okay, so let's just say you didn't know what a bear was, right? And you're out in the middle of the woods, and a ranger comes up to you and says, "Oh, there's a bear in the woods, and he's eating people, and people are screaming and leaving the woods, and they're having all kinds of problems, and blah blah blah." I mean, he's scaring you with this information, and you're like, "Holy cow, what do I do?" And you feel that adrenaline rush and whatever. That's your perspective, like, "Oh, bear, big thing. It's ugly. It's mean. It's going to eat me. Not good." Okay, so you've already formulated that. So then you turn the corner and you see that bear and you're like, "Oh my gosh, oh, it's crazy. I gotta go. He's gonna eat me," and you have the parasympathetic nervous system, your sympathetic nervous system, everybody's fighting one another. You got your fight or flight, everything, all bells, everybody's all hands on deck, right? Because you've already been told or have experienced that bear is a bad thing. Okay. But let's just say never met a bear, don't know anything about bears. No ranger came and told you that bears were ugly and they were eating people and all that kind of stuff. Okay. And then you turn the corner and you see this big bear there and you go, "Oh, wow, big and fluffy." Like me, I would be like, "Oh, big and fluffy, let me hug it," because I'm a big animal lover and I love furry animals. And so, I'm all over, "Hey, wow, big furry animal. Let me just go and love on it," because I haven't been programmed or have experienced that negative thing that the ranger told me about. So my perspective is different. So my body response is going to be different. Okay. Because that mind body connection is going to be different. So by tapping in, we're basically reconnecting the emotion with the physical things that are going on and calms that um, parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous systems, get everybody out on the same playing field. That emotionally resets, and at this part of your tapping you can then introduce feelings of well-being. Okay. And so, like I said just a minute ago, with some of these calming phrases, "I love who I am," and who God created me to be, and all that kind of stuff. um, the You can use those phrases to reintroduce something positive. So, or maybe you're just stuck in life. Who knows? You can then pick an essential oil, and I have this other one here. This is a Madagascar vanilla. Oh my gosh, who doesn't love vanilla, right? So it always inflicts super, super good feelings for me. So I'm going to take that again, put a little bit on my hand, um, rub between my palms, and cup. Okay, 6 counts in, 6 counts out. Especially with taking from your gut. All right. Take that deep breath in, close your eyes, breathe for a few minutes, and say some of those calming phrases. So make sure you're saying those calming phrases while you're doing it. Mindfulness, or this bringing to the present moment, is part of the reason why we do this. We want to get more grounded in life and kind of bring the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system back into balance, so that we're not doing this fight or flight. We're not getting super worked up. And it's almost like you can take yourself out of the situation and look at it with an objective point of view. So, for example, a couple weeks ago, I had somebody that was I was not trying to necessarily focus on the past, but I wanted to explore things of the past and just ask questions and just try to get to know. I wanted information. And that person said, "Don't worry about it. It's the past. Don't worry about it." And my immediate response in the past would have been, "Oh my gosh, what's going on? What happened? What happened?" And I would have got myself all worked up. What do they tell me? What do they, all those kinds of things. I would have got myself all worked up. However, at that point, I didn't even have to start tapping at that point, because I've, worked with myself long enough to know that I took myself out of the immediate situation and depersonalized it for myself and saw that that person is hurting and that person doesn't want to go to the past and dig up something or have something dug up. So I should not do that either. Okay, so I realized what it was for what it was because I've trained myself in this area. But let's just say that you're not there yet. If you can train yourself, like I did, to kind of step away and say, okay, I'm seeing it from their perspective. And I didn't get myself worked up because it had nothing to do with me. It had to do with where they are in their journey. And they were able, they kind of did them. And so in response, instead of me getting all worked up, I did me. Took a couple of deep breaths, went into the other room, grabbed an oil, okay, did this exercise that I'm telling you about. And it brought me right back to center again because I knew that it didn't have anything to do with me. It was something that they were dealing with, or, not, or in this case, not dealing with. And they, it helped me to get me back to an even playing field. Again, remember, we're talking about balancing parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system. Okay. So those are different steps that you can do. Now, let's just say this is an absolute emergency. Okay. Like you're literally in crisis. All right. And crisis means something different to everybody, but you are totally in crisis. So you would maybe take some of those steps, but you may totally like ignore all those steps and go straight to this. It's completely, it's completely your call, see what your body wants. But what you would do, like maybe if you're feeling really scattered, fearful, emotionally overwhelmed, like really, this is your limit. Okay. You could sit with your feet flat on the floor, sit on a chair or, um, sofa, something like that. Take in 3 slow, deep breaths and then ground yourself. Look at something in the room. Okay. Describe 3 things that you see in the room. Like if this were happening right now, I would be like, okay, I see the table, I see my water jug, I see Tracy over there. Okay, it's grounding me to the place right then and there. Notice the objects near you. Okay, so just look around. Um, Notice 3 things that you hear. I hear people talking. I hear, I hear a little bit of music. Um, I hear myself in my thing here. Um, Notice, take a minute to just notice them and take some deep breaths. And then notice something that you can smell. And of course, like I said, my smelling is always going to be essential oils. In the crisis, I'm always going to go for frankincense. Frankincense is so calming. Okay. And so, and then you would put, your frankincense on like we have been, put just, a drop on the palm of your hand. Okay. Breathe it in and say out loud, right here. I am grounded. I am safe. I am right here. Okay. Get yourself to a place of grounding so that so it doesn't spiral out of control. Okay. Because, let's face it, emotions are a huge part of life experience. We're always going to have emotions. They're going to be all over the map. What we don't want is them stored and causing physical problems in our body. Okay, and that's what happens because, like, the liver stores anger, the lungs store grief. I mean, all these different body organs store these emotions, and then people come, like they'll come to me in practice and say, "Oh my goodness, I've had, with such and such, and we, determine that maybe it's, your liver needs a little bit of love," and they're like, "Oh, I've gotten the liver checked out, and my medical doctor says it's fine." And so we do some emotional work and we find out that there was emotions that the liver stores that were causing problems because we didn't deal with the emotions. Okay. So we need to make sure that we're releasing them. So to help release maybe some resistance, to maybe some very painful feelings of emotions and integrate them, to put them in the right place, not like they didn't happen, but put them in the right place of our life experience. When we're caught in a cycle of fear, painful emotions, sit comfortably, okay, in a chair, put a drop of oil. Like I said, I use frankincense almost all the time, exclusively when I'm dealing with emotions. Um, Put it in your hand, breathe it in 3 to 6 times, the deep breaths from the belly. Close your eyes, place your hand over your heart, okay, and imagine as you breathe in deep that the space around you and around your heart is large, it's deep. Notice the emotion that you're feeling, whether it's sadness or fear. Fear is big right now, okay? Notice that emotion, embrace that emotion, and detach yourself from the emotion and the story behind the circumstance. And oh yeah, no, that's cool. You can. We'll hug in a second. Sorry. And so understand how strong and deep that emotion is. Don't ignore that. Okay, and realize that your heart is big enough to experience the emotion and process it out, and continue to breathe, continue to ground yourself, and go back into the tapping again. Okay, bring it back to, you know, I may not be in a safe situation right now, but it won't always be this way. I won't always have this feeling, but I want to feel the feeling and release it. I want to release this feeling of whatever it is, of fear. I want to get away from this feeling of fear. I acknowledge the fear, but I don't want to. Um, I don't want it to settle in my spirit. I I love and trust that God is going to take this from me. I thank Him in advance for doing that. Uh, I am thankful for the experience. I'm thankful that I've had these experiences. I don't want to store this in my body, and I want to release. Let it go. Just let it go. And you keep doing that until you feel those emotions release out of your body. And you're going to know. I know it's kind of hard to just say, oh, you're going to know. But yeah, you're going to know. You're going to know. You're going to feel differently. You're going to, those release of emotions. And do it for as long as you are experiencing those emotions. So, give yourself grace, give yourself space to be able to do that in such a way that that serves your body. You may need to do that several times a day, depending on what crisis you're going through. You might have to do it, I've been in some crisis before that I've had to do it every hour because the feeling kept coming up, or maybe the situation that was going on warranted it. And right now we've got crazy situations going on, don't we? And so this would be our way of making sure that we stay grounded. We keep that parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system on the even playing field, to be able to get emotionally grounded and keep it that way, and not store these emotions in our body. Don't serve us well, because I can tell you about 80% of the time when people come to me in practice, and they'll say, I've got this backache, and I have no idea my back. I went to the chiropractor, I've had, x-rays, I've had, done all these things. They can't find anything. And so I'm like, yeah, it's pretty good chance that there's an emotion stuck in there. And you just have to trust the process. And if you're Christian like me, you trust that God doesn't want you carrying around that stuff either. He wants that released as well. And you may not even know what it is that's causing that, but we do know it's an emotion. So hopefully this will help you to know what to do in an emotional emergency. As far as tapping, essential oils, again, very, very, both of them individual of one another is really very effective, but adding both of them together is super, super effective. And I love mixing both of those things for myself for sure, and teaching other people how to do it. So I don't know, did we lose Joe? Where are you, Joe? I think we lost him. I think my half an hour is up. Um, oops. Joe, where'd you go? I don't want to totally hang up here because I don't know. But, okay, so 1 minute. 1 minute. I was told 1 minute he's coming back. But anyway, okay, so anyway, I'm a naturopathic practitioner in Pennsylvania. My practice is called Recreating Wellness. It's REE, Creating Wellness. And it's kind of a play on my name, AnneMarie Battis. And I can be found here online at recreatingwellness.com, also here on Facebook. And I do a lot of online appointments as well as in person. And I also have a little uniqueness to my practice. I serve the Amish and Mennonite community here in Pennsylvania. Well, in Pennsylvania. Right now I'm in Chicago, but in Pennsylvania. But I'm here with Tracy at the Chicago, at the Trinity event. So I'm super happy that I was able to share this time with you guys. And excuse me, I think that's it, Joe. I think hopefully I helped all our friends be able to handle. Hopefully they don't get a lot of emergency situations, but
well, it's almost impossible to avoid emergencies,
mhm,
especially emotional ones these days, AnneMarie. So,
yeah,
I think this was very
it is.
pertinent, very timely, because we had someone, my daughter, as a matter of fact, talking about essential oils earlier in the week, and we had
Uh
Dr.
huh.
Orbach here talking about tapping yesterday. So you put
Yeah.
those two together for us, and that was fantastic. That was fantastic.
Well, good, good. Hopefully it'll serve you guys. And if anybody has any questions, just put them below. I'll be checking messages on here, or reach out to me personally. I'm happy to help. But they, like I said before, both of the modalities are super good for all kinds of things. But when you put them together like that, I think it's like
Right.
the bomb diggity. Absolutely.
Awesome. Yes.
All
Well,
right,
thank you so
guys. Well,
much
you
for
guys have
sharing your wisdom.
absolutely, absolutely. You
Have a
guys have a
great time
wonderful
in
day.
Chicago.
I am. I am. I love coming here every year.
Okay, you got to if you want a great meal, go to Gene and Georgetti's. Tell them I sent you.
Oh, was it Gene and Georgetti's?
Gene and Georgetti's.
All right. I'm there.
Downtown.
All right.
Downtown. Tell them
Awesome.
Joe sent you. All right.
I will. I will.
Thanks,
All right,
AnneMarie.
guys. Y'all take care. Bye bye.
Bye-bye. Well, that was AnneMarie Battis with an A, Phil. Okay, AnneMarie Battis. And Phil and I were debating the pronunciation of AnneMarie's last name, but it is Battis.
Oh, I lost.
You did.
Oh,
You did. Yeah, yeah. I out scholared the scholar, Super Phil, over here today on that one. But anyhow, folks, that was great. Good information. And like I said, she took two of the other presentations and combined them into one, and that just makes it perfect. So she's out there at Trinity with Tracy and with Candace, and at 11 o'clock in 5 minutes, we're supposed to go live. I don't know what Tracy has cooked up for us out there, but I'm sure she'll find some interesting people to interview, to bring on screen, to talk about health. And that comes up in 5 minutes. So go get yourself a cup of coffee, take a bathroom break, come on back in 5. We'll see you then.